right. Shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Also double honors and salutations to the elders, the apostles of Great Millstone, as well as the elder bishops, and to the rest of the prophets, the brothers, the few sisters out there, the hopeful elect, all right, the true biblical bloodline Israelites, which are you so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, as well as the Israelite foreigner Gentiles that might look like the heathen. Greetings. But I'm gonna just play this. You just had a situation. You know, I believe it's of course, funny activity. All right. You know, puppet master. It just reminds me of somebody's whole setup. All right, but it makes sense because the tiny hat people are pulling the strings for more control. All right, through what these digital IDs, biometrics. All right, so I'm gonna play this Donald Trump speaking on this situation that just happened with the National Guard. Because as we've been explaining to you people for years on hand about Hegelian dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution, which is a tactic used by the super elite to, which really mean, problem, reaction, solution. So the problem is created, staged, from the inside out, whatever. Then there's the reaction. Okay, and they can navigate that reaction, and then the solution. They control the solution. They offer the solution. All right. Okay. And your reaction in this case is going to be trying to protect your civil liberties and your God-given liberties, your food and store, housing. Okay, the natural, the basic fundamental things of given that for a man's life. The scriptures speak about, bread, salt, water, wine, oil, the blood of the grape. There's just certain things that the Most High created for necessity of man, but for the evil, for the wicked, he maketh all of those things evil. All right, and we're in bad times. That's what the word evil means. Okay, so these people want control. All right, these same evil people that are being cussed out. All right, that old biblical proverb is about. The old biblical proverb. How long shall thou be laden with thick clay, and pretty much keep it that which is not yours. Okay, that's an old proverb that, according to prophetic proverb, that the nations would speak in the times that we're in now. And these people are being revealed. The tribe of Amalek, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the tiny hats. All right, these are the people that the Most High is getting ready to judge, and this is their last stand at full control, and it starts with biometrics. So we're gonna listen to this enchantment. Let's get it. Copyright Act, 1976, for educational purposes only. The average person thinks that these type of videos we put together are boring, but honestly, this is the true way to think about that movie, the Ninja Turtles, all of the Avenger movies. You have a department for those different characters where they have to be vigilant. They have to watch. Okay, where do you think they get that narrative from? Okay, the prophets in the Bible, the men of the Lord, are known as watchers as well, seers. You're supposed to forecast, supposed to be discerning all right, using wisdom and watching, being circumspect, you know. So, there's nothing that can catch you off, you know. But yeah, these people are filled up.
My great fellow Americans,
bread and circus.
Earlier today, on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, two members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They had been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those two members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price.
Remember the left to the right narrative. Okay, the left opened the borders, okay, under the so-called Biden administration, which is we're going to open up Revelation, the 13th chapter. And I saw another beast, okay, arise with two horns, the horns of a lamb, all right, but spake as a dragon. Okay, those two horns represent the two parties, because the beast also represents Rome coming back into the earth, all right, which is prophesied in the book of Daniel as well. So those horns, like we've been telling you, it's the same beast. It's the same party. Okay, but now we're in the point where they're speaking as a dragon, meaning that they're speaking, evils, bad times, drastic measures, evil laws with harsh penalties, dracone, and they're gonna do it in a deceptive way. Remember, the scriptures speak on Esau, Edom being a crafty, a cunning hunter. Okay, a crafty, cunning hunter. A serpent. You see, Revelation, the 12th chapter, ties this beast back to the serpent. Okay, when you look up the attributes of a serpent, it's subtlety, craftiness. So digital ID, because we're gonna finish the video, but supposedly these are some foreign so-called Muslims, all right, that supposedly did this attack. All right, so this is one of the many trains of the wicked, as the scriptures say. The wicked hath many trains. They're working on this. Okay, these digital IDs. All right, these wearables. All right, so that they can finally clamp down and bring out the sword and force. Okay, that MOTB, the mark of the beast. This is what everything is leading up to. All right, this is what the prophets are measuring everything by, underneath you people's noses, man. Why you out here celebrating these holidays and shit? We're measuring how close we are to these prophecies. That's why the scriptures say we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. The scriptures say that we'd be measuring, okay, the tokens, these prophecies, and standing on our watch, okay, blowing the trumpet, man. So let's, because just to narrate, that's what this is all about. And I'm gonna tap into another video really quick, going into one of his left-hand men, RFK, how he's speaking on everybody should be wearing these wearables. Okay.
Pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan.
You see, the suspect. How do we know, man? This is all staged. I'm being honest with you. It's all staged. Okay, all of these underground pedo rings, kidnapping rings, organ trap, all of this different stuff, Hollywood, whatever, man. Okay, we never get the never have a solution for that, but we can find just a foreign nigga from, they always tend to find these guys, and the FBI always tend to say that they've been watching. Okay, but they never, intercede. But they okay, we're getting wind that there possibly can be you should you should be able to intercept it. Okay, but yeah, it's the foreign Arab. Notice how they focus on letting you know that, pushing that Arab narrative. Okay, and that's going to be something that they try to link us with the Hebrew Israelites, because we come from an Eastern culture. That's our natural culture, the Hebrew Israelites. That's who we are. It's not a fad. This is not a game. It's not a show. That's our nationality of the 12 prospective tribes of the Hebrew Israelites. That's our ancestry. Okay. So digital passports, because there's going to be a blackout. There's going to be a fall of society, a very drastic fall. Okay. Babylon the Great is going to be thrown down with violence, because that great reset that they were speaking about is going to be the actual hard copy of the MOTB, the true digital interface of what they want, which is going to be that chip implemented directly underneath your skin. This is why we're going to hear him speak about, biometrics, and, what they really want to say is digital IDs. But right now they're just playing with, making this thing sound like a pseudo salvation. Okay, health benefits, make it sound appealing, something you need. Okay, but these are the fiery darts of Satan right here. The things that are going to be used, the narrative that's going to be used to say, look, we need to clamp down, real IDs. Okay, these are just all talking points to control the narrative and steer the people's minds in one direction towards forcing this MOTB. Because ultimately, you're going to be faced with deletion, starvation, humiliation, homelessness. Okay, that's where it is. These tiny hat people. Okay, and I say that because you have clear examples of what's going on over there in the Mideast, and the world knows. Okay, I'll just say that. These are the same people that are, all right, rising up to pretty much take over, you people's everyday lives. And, they pretty much have you in a prison, and they're going to lock you into a digital prison. So let's finish the rest of this as he goes in on this so-called foreign boogeyman.
A hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world.
It was all set up from the beginning. And you people should have known that. Okay? You should have known that going all the way back when DJ Trump was on that reality show saying you're fired. You should have asked yourself, how is it that a reality TV jokester clown, so-called billionaire, that / Hollywood star, or whoever this guy used to be before he was president, how is he running for president? Okay, this is a joke. What's the narrative? Okay, you should have been waiting. Okay, Okay, but see, you people are brain dead. You should have seen the play a long time ago. Okay, they're getting ready to pretty much divvy up and categorize everyone that is against, their agenda, the new world order, and those who are not. All right. So biometrics, surveillance, is what they've been speaking about often. The Department of Homeland Security, all this different stuff, but they're also going to paint this thing on the flip side as a good thing for health and keeping up to date technology, advancements and stuff, video games and all that, man.
Places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing, as their representatives in our country preach to us about our country.
So if they don't have none of those things, even in their own country, how are they ripping you off here? How are they really the problem of what's going on in America with the average everyday person? You see that? You got to really listen. These people are very proud and wicked and arrogant. Okay, these Edomites.
Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not.
But the majority of the ice pickings are just the tribe of Issachar, the Israelites, the so-called Mexicans, Latinos, Negroes. All right. So, they dig in the little special boogeyman tool bag when they need the emergency boogeyman. They go back to Ishmael. They go back to the Arabs. They pull that out the bag, and they use that narrative to actually push forward laws. They can pull out that 9/11 theory, all right, which that was all fabricated, all right. They use that. Hollywood used to make those movies where planes get hijacked. It was always some Arab dude. You know what I'm saying? But just, they speak with a forked tongue, like the tribe of Gad said. You got to really listen to what they're saying, because, they want you to cheer along with them. But when you really listen to their narrative, it's like, okay, we're going to get, what are you really trying to say? Or what, are we really trying to fix any real problems? Or okay, why are we hand picking these individual situations to do a whole sermon about? All right, when we have real problems in everyday, American society, fundamental things like, cost of living and stuff that is not being addressed, gas prices,
Belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage.
And again, let's just play this other video real quick. Just here, man, real quick. 1 second. Again, I'm gonna look up the word biometrics because
diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again. And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
all right, merging man with technology, science. Okay, we keep bringing up this particular scripture right here. Right. Let's get it. It says this is Revelations 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So on one side, you have the militarization of society because there's this so-called boogeyman, okay, ingrown, homegrown terrorism. People, that are not patriot haters of the U.S., foreigners. Okay, the Biden administration, we got to clean up what they did, but now our borders are infiltrated, so we got to go to war. We need more of a military. Less police, more military. Okay, because more control. They want to ultimately. Where is that? Second Edges, it's either the 16th or the 15th chapter. It speaks about how you won't be able to go into the next city. You can just be locked in your prospective street, city zones, warring with one another because ain't nobody got no food, no water, sewage system cut off. All right, and this is what they're going to use on the sword side. All right, Esau going to, he's getting ready to, that great sword it speaks of in the book in Revelations. Okay, that sword is coming out, but on the flip side, okay, technology, AI, surveillance, tracking. Okay, data is the new gold, and that's what the mark of the beast is dealing with. And if you're not within the system, then you don't exist within the system. So you either homeless on the streets, do you get picked up and taken to a FEMA camp and unalived or whatever they do with you, or you escape and you make it around to the Lord the day that the Lord comes to save us. All right, and when those nuclear missiles are shut off, because ultimately that's the fate of this place, regardless what these people are talking about. It says, and he that deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, the technology, okay, all of this gaslighting. All right, and we're gonna, the new way is, what's that? What's the thing? Verification codes. Okay, scan your face, scan, take a picture, scan the QR code. All right, the inception of the MOTB, which the grid is already laid down. Okay, whether you're going to the gas station, whether you're getting on a bus, okay, that whole biometric system that you're gonna put your hand to, you see, that's gonna track and trace you no matter where you're at. And it's gonna be a worldwide thing. You're gonna be in a database. Okay, so more control, problem, reaction, solution. We have people now shooting at U.S., military. We need more control. If you read between the lines, okay, because nothing, okay, that is pretty much nothing real is really being addressed. We're just getting a bunch of empty promises, on things that really need to be addressed as far as the way people are living here in the U.S., man, and the way things are going. It says, and deceiveth 14 them that dwelleth on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell upon the earth that they should make an image to the beast, okay, which had the wound by the sword and did live. Yeah, this is modern Rome. All right. All right. The deadly wound was ancient Rome. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And this is where we're at in prophecy. He had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. I want to look up that word image real quick. Image, icon, I believe that's the word. It reminds me of like icon, like, oh, my favorite celebrity icon. Okay, that's wicked. That's idol worship. Icon. The true icons are supposed to be the Most High and His Son. Okay, statue, profile, figuratively, representation, literally statue or profile, resemblance. Okay, so had power to give life unto the image. All right, the image of the beast is this, okay, society, the resemblance of what we see. All right, the wickedness, okay, the craft, the policies. That's pretty much the image, the religions, the many different idols and gods and religions, pantheon. This place, it's all about, worshiping whatever, money system, that's the image. And now, okay, this thing is going into a digital prison. All right. And anybody that doesn't agree will be targeted. All right. Via, a military police state with no mercy, no court, pretty much no representation, man, under these new executive orders that the dragon is now speaking. Okay. It says the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. Let me just see what that word speak is right there. Speak. Talk, preach, utter, talk. Okay. Utter, to use words. Okay. As many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. You see that? And he causeth all, both small, great, rich, and poor. And this is why the military is, okay, going to be replaced with, to do the dirty work. And ultimately is going to be foreign mercenaries that are going to do the bidding of, okay, the cleanup, the culling, all right, the trimming, the culling of the people. Because you have millions of people that are not a part of this super elite's plan to go into this next phase. And altogether, it is the plagues, all right, that the Most High is sending. Okay, now evil, wicked, cruel Lord over you people to pretty much, be this great villain. All right. It says, and he calls it all, both small, rich, great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Yeah, Elon Musk is talking about the brain chips. You got, they're talking about how they can let people serve out their prison sentences just by hooking them up, doing some type of brain scan, hooking them up to a machine, and once they hit that machine, it'll be as if they did their whole 30 prison year term. erase their memory. Okay. And he caused both small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond to receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Yeah, it's going to be that the biometrics. Remember, he spoke about, it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, and that's dealing with the barcode scan system, universal scanning barcode system, a worldwide thing. Okay, and it says so scriptures speak about if you pretty much cut off a man's right to eat is like killing a man. All right, so again, I just wanted to bring that out just to tie things together. In prophecy, I just want to look up the word before we get out. Biometrics. 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 Biometrics uses unique physical or behavioral traits like fingerprints or voice patterns to identify and verify a person's identity for the authentication or access and control. All right. Disadvantages. Data can be misused if collected or stored insecurely. Look at this last scripture. 1 second. Oh man, come on. Come on, man. And see, something big, everybody can feel it. That something big is going to lead to them implementing either a straight shot to the chip or those biometrics. Okay. It just might be, some type of ID. Man, 1 second, man. This shit won't even, Salakia, man. It won't even come up, man. Doggone Satan. Okay. It's right here, man. We left. These people are fucking annoying, man. That should be. It says, biometrics. Is that it? Every place. I think it's in this chapter. Right here. Oh yeah. This is 2nd Ezra 15. And 16. For there should be sedition among men. All right, what did Donald Trump just speak about? There should be harsh penalties against those that stir up sedition. All right, speaking about the death penalty for those who stir up sedition. For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings or princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And this is what Donald Trump was addressing. This is an example, a so-called example, which I believe that to be a false flag. But these are the times we're coming into where these devils are going to get something kicked off to the point where people are going to be in, dire straits to not care about what the military or the police going to do. Take things into their own hands, And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And so situations like this are building more of a case for more military. All right. And notice a lot of these military events, they're bringing more towards the capital. If you could stack the military in the capital, what are you saying? The capital is supposed, Washington, D.C., you know, that's supposed to be the commander, command seat of what? The Babylon the Great. But, yeah, they're cutting off the city streets. So there's going to come an event where martial law, you won't be able to travel. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay, and you're going to need biometrics. All right, you're going to need the chip to move around. Okay, that's going to be the excuse. All right, we know who you are. Everybody's logged in. Anybody who's not logged in out into this digital system is they're hiding something. Okay, they're a threat. In the same way they did with that jab, it created all that division and you people bought into it. It's gonna be the same thing. Oh yeah, lock them up and throw away the key because you're afraid of the boogeyman. That's, all in the name of safety, peace, God, Jesus. Okay, but yeah, that's it, man. That was just my take on this new little, because there's something new every week, every fucking week, some new distraction. But they'll bring one little thing out of their pocket, put it back. They won't take it out for a minute, but later on they're gonna use it. Okay, eventually they're gonna use it. And this is one of those things where this is another build-up of we need more surveillance, we need tracking, okay, and ultimately chipping. But we know that salvation is literally nigh, okay, because prophetically these people won't be able to accomplish their, the fullness of their sufficiency, as prophesied in Job, the 20th chapter. So we're literally right here, and they are definitely moving, all right, at a faster pace, a much faster rate. And you can just see it in their continents that they're getting ready to pick it up, all right, going into 2026. And this winter is probably going to be hell for a lot of people, okay? But shalom, till next time, shalom.